Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. And first off, I want to apologize for the lighting because I am filming at nighttime and I am in a different setting, so I apologize for that. I was just really excited to film this video for you guys. And then number two, I apologize for the messy background. Sorry about that. Again, I was just really excited to film this video, so I kind of wanted to go ahead and film it tonight. So basically, if you don't already know, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I love reading, and reading is like one of my favorite hobbies. And in 2020, I read a lot of great books. So I basically went on my Instagram. If you don't already follow me, I will leave it down in the description box. I post all of my basically book ratings, and I have a highlight where you can see all the ones that I've ever posted. And I went on there and I picked out my top 10 favorite books that I read of 2020. And I'm really excited because I feel like they're very diverse. They cater to everyone. They're very different genres, stories, different authors, so I'm really excited to share them with you guys. A quick disclaimer though, I don't have any of these books like copies of them because I actually just get them from the library and then I just take them back, so I won't be having physical copies to show you guys, but I will be putting pictures up on the screen right about here so you guys can get an idea of what it looks like, and then I will have a full list down in the description box for you guys to easily access. So with that being said, grab a snack and also grab a pen and paper because you're going to want to write these down because they are amazing book recommendations. So let's get started. Okay, so first up, which by the way, none of these books will be in any particular order. I honestly love them all so much that I could not even rank them. So they're just going to be in like no particular order. So with that being said, first up is A Woman Is No Man. And I don't know how to pronounce the author's name. I don't want to mispronounce it or anything. So I'm going to leave it on the screen. And this book was probably one of my favorite books, if not my favorite. It was so incredibly amazing. It was such a good story. And I honestly thought I wasn't even going to like it. Because I hadn't really read into it. I just got it from the library and I was just like, oh, well, it was actually one of the last books that I read. But it was amazing. So basically it's a fictional story, but it represents the author's life. And it's about 3 generations of Palestinian women. So it goes back and forth between the grandma, the mom, and the daughter. And it's just incredible. And I'm not going to give anything away in like this video, like spoilers or anything, but it was just incredible. And if you don't like back and forth like chapters or chapters that alternate between characters, you might not like this book because that's literally what this book is. But it really, the way the author wrote it, it's not confusing at all. And it's very like straightforward. The story itself is really amazing. It's empowering and uplifting, and I just recommend it to literally everyone because I think everyone can get something different out of this book and the story that she tells. So that is number 1. It was an amazing read, and I definitely give it a 5 out of 5 stars. It's just incredible. So number 2, I really love romance books. And I'm a big fan of them, and I'm also not super picky with my books. I love all different types of genres. I love serious books, I love romance books, I love thrillers, I love all that stuff. So I'm not super picky, and I'm not super hard to please, honestly. But my next book would be Regretting You by Colleen Hoover. This book was amazing. It kind of took romance and the way she wrote it, it's not a typical romance story. It's very deep. It's much deeper than that, and the story itself was just incredible. So it kind of follows a woman. It also goes back and forth between the chapters between the daughter and the mom, and the mom was pregnant when she was younger, like she was like 16 I think when she got pregnant with her daughter, and it basically goes throughout her point of view as like a very unfulfilling life. She got married to her baby's father when she was really young, but he once certain things come to the light, she realizes that her life is so unfulfilling, and she's able to find her passion, and she's digging for her passion. So, and then the daughter, her point of view is like kind of the broken relationship between the mom and the daughter. So this story was really much deeper than just a typical romance story, and it just had some really great like family ties to it and a little bit of drama. So if you like family drama, you would definitely like this book. It's not a super cheesy romance, which is what I really appreciated about this book. So again, 5 out of 5 stars. Okay, so moving on to a book that is widely known in the literature world. The Glass Castle by Jeanette. And this book, it took me a while to actually like read it. Like I know a lot of people read it when they were a little bit younger than me, or have read it like years ago or whatever, and I just picked it up last year, and I loved this book. So it's a memoir, and it's based on Jeanette Wall's life, and she writes about her childhood, and it's very similar to Educated by Tara Westover, which is another really good memoir. And they're very similar with very dysfunctional families, and she's writing about her life growing up, and it's a very interesting read. I think everyone should read it. It's a very empowering, and it can be sad at some points, and it makes you like sit back and think about how someone can have such a dysfunctional family and, you know, become so successful the way that she has. And it's so it's just so moving. And also her memoir is very like interesting. It's never boring, which sometimes memoirs for me personally can be a little bit boring. Hers was not. It was so interesting, and it made me actually laugh out loud. Like it was actually so funny in some parts, and then some parts made me want to cry. So really enjoyed this memoir. Again, a 5 out of 5 stars, and I recommend it to literally anyone, no matter what genre of books you like. This one is definitely like a must read. So out of all of the thrillers and mystery books that I read of 2020, by far one of my favorites was The Other Mrs. Again, I don't know how to pronounce the author's last name, so I'm not going to mispronounce it, but I have it right there. So this book was really actually impressive in terms of it actually surprised me at the end. The way the author wrote this book was just incredible, because it's, for me at least, it's hard to find a good mystery that actually surprises me. I typically can guess it, it's typically hinted at, and it's just hard for me to actually be surprised at the end. But this book is on my top 10 because of the way that it surprised me at the end. It's a very quick read. It's not very long. And I just really liked it. The story was really cool and unique for a mystery. And like I said, it was just really good. I do believe this book goes back and forth between characters as well. I could be wrong. I can't remember. I did read it a few months ago, so I can't fully remember, but it was such a good read. And if you like a good mystery that's quick and easy but will also surprise you, this one is definitely for you. I also really like just a good story. And honestly, the next book that I have is Eleanor Park by Rowell. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. But this book was so good. It definitely pulled at my heartstrings. It was such a unique story about two like misfits, and they're just two kids that are just like completely opposite, but they end up having like a really special relationship, and the ending was incredible. The whole story was incredible. It was just it left me with such a warm feeling. So if you like not the typical romance, but it's gonna give you that warm feeling, it's not cheesy or anything, like this book was just an all-around good story that left me with a warm feeling. It was a little sad, like it was a little bit I guess emotional to read, even though it was fiction. It definitely, like I said, pulled at my heartstrings, but it was so good. So I definitely recommend this one as well. So another really good book. So this book was An American Marriage by Tayari Jones. I'm so sorry. I know I can't pronounce like hardly any of these names, but this book was so incredible. So it basically follows an African-American man that basically was incarcerated for something he did not do, and it goes throughout his marriage and how him being in prison basically affects his marriage and keeping his marriage basically from falling apart. And it was just a really good read altogether, and to basically see it from the point of view of someone who is being directly affected by this was super moving and educational. And although it was fiction, like I said, it was very encouraging and inspiring to read, because it is a real reality in today's world, and I just want to be educated as much as I can. And I feel like besides like actual, real life stories, fiction can be another good way to educate yourself, because of the realities that can be within the fiction itself. So I really liked this book. It was sad and it was empowering. It was just really good. And I think, again, this is one of those books that I think everyone should read at some point in their life. So if you really like cheesy romances that are dabbling into a little bit of a deeper meaning behind them, The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez is another great read. It's a super quick read. It's lighthearted. It's gonna basically fulfill all of your cheesy romance dreams. It's such a good book. But what I really liked about it was that this author, she did a really good job about incorporating different themes within the story so that it wasn't so one note. It was very layered, and I really liked that. So if you want a little bit of a deeper romance, this one is for you. It's so lighthearted, but yet there are some really deep themes of like infertility and having kids, and I can't really remember fully, but I think there has to do with death. I could be wrong. I'm sorry. But it's just, I love how it was a little bit deeper than a typical romance. So that's why this one is on my top 10 as well. So I really wanted to branch out in my genres for 2020. So that's why I dabbled into some memoirs. So another favorite, that this is just a book that was incredibly inspiring and moving, would be Becoming by Michelle Obama. I know this was like a really popular book this past year, and a lot of people really recommended it, and I read it, and I really enjoyed it. It was such a good story, and it was so cool to see how her life was growing up, how it was in the White House, how she got to the White House, and how the White House is affected, and like her, husband being the president, how it affected her directly. It's just a really incredible story. I think everyone should read it, and it was incredibly educational as well. So that is a definite recommend. The last two books, I have a thriller and a romance. So for the thriller, it would be Mr. Nobody by Catherine Steadman. So this was the first book that I read by a UK author, and she did not disappoint whatsoever. Her writing style was very, very encapsulating. It was so amazing. So I think that I read this book a while ago, so I can't really remember like the logistics of this story. I just remember that the ending like really surprised me, and I loved the overall story, and the way that she like made me want to keep reading. I could not put this book down because I wanted to figure out the entire storyline. And like I said, it's not like a typical one note mystery. It's a very layered and complex story that makes you want to keep reading more, and it feels like you're like watching a movie. So most of these books that I mentioned in this video feel like you're watching something, like you can picture it in your head, and that's how you know. For the last book, I have The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, and I loved this book. It was such a cute romance story, and I plan on reading a lot more of her books. I've seen a lot of her on like other book Instagrams, and I've seen a lot of her books elsewhere, so I thought she was an incredible author for this book. It was very lighthearted, it was funny, it wasn't boring or anything, and it was just a really quick and easy read that left me feeling very happy. So if you like a good romance book, this one's for you. It's I think I read this one a while ago too, so I can't really remember the full story, but I just remember that I loved it so much, and it was just a really good, all-around romance book. So if you like those, then that one is okay. So that is it for this video. I hope that you got some good book recommendations. Like I said, I'm gonna leave them all listed down below. But I really was so excited to film this video because I read a lot of good books in 2020, and I love reading, and it was a different type of video that I normally would do. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you haven't followed me on Instagram, go ahead and do that because that's where I update more of my books. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.